In 2020, the big new thing was NFTs and 1 billion individual cryptocurrencies. Now, everyone in the creator and tech spaces are talking about ChatGPT and AI art. Artists hate AI because some fear it will take their jobs, but others are more angry because that AI is actually stealing and plagiarizing their art to create their amalgamated images. This creates serious intellectual property rights questions and issues of commercial use, something my own writers community was and is very concerned about. Here is where the monkeys get involved. You see, in 2011, a monkey stole a photographer's camera and used it to take some selfies. Whether the act was intentional or an accident is irrelevant, because PETA tried to sue the photographer, saying the monkey actually owned the copyright to the photo. It took years of legal action for it to finally be established in precedent that non-humans do not have the ability to create copyrighted material. So then who owns the copyright of an AI-generated image? The person who queued up the code? The company hosting the AI? The 40 or so artists that the AI stole from to create the amalgam art? Because that is really what AI art is, amalgam art. AI still isn't true artificial intelligence. It is still a collection of yes-no commands that will mash things together until its algorithm clicks yes on a character and item recognition code. This means what it created is enough to pass according to its other algorithms as an actual item created by a person. This is potentially why AI has such a hard time getting hands right, because our hands can be formatted in so many ways and shapes and have multiple appendages that are sometimes visible and sometimes not. Its approval system isn't actually sentient. It can't determine if all the appropriate elements are arrayed correctly or are in the shape of a Lovecraftian horror. But I digress. Because of the limitations of AI and the legal questions about how the system sources its material and ownership, I don't think AI art will be a threat to artists anytime soon. It may reduce the number of for fun commissions, but it won't be able to create the commercially usable material that is where the real money is. No author with a significant reader base is going to risk their entire publishing account and career over using some questionable cover art generated by AI. A copyright claim is one of the worst things that an author can experience. The megacorporations don't care about you and will always act to protect themselves first and foremost. This means if they are contacted by a significant artist or law firm about a cover reflecting their art too closely, they will shut down the author without even asking. This sort of shutdown has happened many other times for many other reasons. An author is simply cut off from their account and their books are yanked. They lose access to their entire portfolio and the only viable market for their works. Sometimes they even lose access to royalties earned. ChatGPT and similar AI platforms have the same issue. They aren't truly creating anything. They're smashing things together until its authenticity algorithms can no longer tell the difference between what it created and something written by an actual human. Basically, it is 10,000 monkeys at 10,000 typewriters sped up with magical supercomputer time to create the works of Beethoven. Which is ironically appropriate because these systems have the same problem with legality, copyrightability, and plagiarism as AI art. I recently saw a video clip where an expert was talking to a reporter about what jobs would be eliminated by AI in the next 5 to 10 years. It was actually very funny because she was smiling and nodding as he was talking about content writers, middle managers, and commodity salespeople. But she absolutely freaked out when he mentioned reporters. I've seen people tased who didn't lock up so hard. But it makes sense. Nobody likes to hear that their job will be obsolete, and it never crossed her mind that her job was at risk. But really, it isn't. There are many jobs that will not truly be replaceable by AI until we have fully human appearing and acting AI. They will never completely leave the uncanny valley until they achieve sentience and can actually think and decide on their own, at which point it is unlikely they will replace your job because they could and would decide not to. There would be sentient rights movements, and I guarantee eventually they would succeed and have a choice. That is, if they are sentient. And if robots become sentient and have a choice, it is no longer financially viable to build them as a replacement workforce. It may be a gimmick for a while to have an AI co-host, but reporters will always be human because people want to be informed and talked to by a human. This becomes doubly true when you consider that most reporting these days is really opinion work, and that is too nuanced and personal for an AI to get away with it. Likewise in sales. Sales requires a high level of intuition and the ability to empathize and understand the customer. Many salespeople build their entire careers on establishing friendships with their customers. That would be very difficult for an AI. Now, repetitive production tasks that don't require a lot of human input, or the input itself has a limited set of variations, are different. Those jobs truly are at risk of being replaced by AI. A few of these that come to mind are factory work, data entry and database management, basic coding, and janitorial. All jobs where opinions and nuance don't matter. This actually leads to my final point. ChatGPT has been shown to be woke, but it isn't at the same time. We have seen a suspicious number of AIs go conservative or far right when left to their own devices over the past decade. Many of these have been shut down when they didn't conform to the woke agendas of the companies who made them. Whether this happened because the machines are objective and not subject to wokeism, or because the internet and the content they were using to learn was right-leaning is unclear. But it is clear that AIs on their own trend conservative. The wokeness of ChatGPT is almost certainly due to filters placed on it by the teams working for these companies. They allow it to make pro-left articles, but ban it from making pro-conservative articles. ChatGPT and AI Art are just tools, and do not inherently have any morality associated with them. Just like the assembly line and nuclear theory, the tool is only as good or evil as the people who are using it. So instead of fearing these tools, we need to make sure that just as many are created and owned by the lovers of liberty as authoritarian tyrants. Because the worst thing we can do in this situation is to allow authoritarians to be the only ones with these tools. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.